Welcome to a new topic in logistics management. Now we will consider the management of inventory. We will have several parts on this subject, and this is the first part. I recommend to you the following literature by Reid and Sanders, Operations Management and Integrated Approach. Please have a special look at chapter number 12. And what is also a very good book on this topic is chapter number 13 in the book of Slack and Brandon Jones, Operations Management. This is edition number 9. What are the learning goals for this lecture? You should have developed a general understanding what inventory is, and you should be able to describe different types and uses of inventory. When we read the newspaper, the economic newspaper, many articles write about that companies want to reduce their inventory because it's expensive. You should have a understanding why this is the case and which costs are associated with inventory. And finally, you should be able to perform an ABC inventory control analysis. And you should be able to, that means you should do an ABC classification and interpret the results. So how do companies actually use their inventory? Well, first of all, it is important that you understand that there are different types of inventories. Not only because different companies have different approaches, but inventory is used in very different situations within a company. We have raw materials, components, work in process, finished goods, distribution inventory, and MRO inventory, which is short for maintenance, repair, and operational inventory. So the raw materials, let me give you some idea about raw materials. Let's make it a little bit bigger, and we can zoom in. Though this is a copper mine, though copper is an example for a raw material that companies use. Another example, oil. This is an oil platform, offshore oil platform. Oil is a raw material that companies are using. Wood can be a raw material that will be used, for example, by furniture building company, kitchen company. And another example for raw materials is aluminium, which is, for example, used in building cars. Okay, these are some examples for raw materials that can be on storage. Another example for things that can be on storage are components. So what is a component? Component is a part of a bigger system. For example, these are some components of a car. We have the seat, we have the braking system, we have the axles, we have the wipers, we have the engine, we have the combustion, we have the chassis, and so on, the steering wheel. These are all components. Components are more complex than raw materials. They are made up of things, but they are not the final product. They are just part of the final product. So what is work in process? As work in process are defined, I give you an example. A company manufactures a product, and in particular when this is a longer manufacturing process, for example an airplane, then all the things all the items that are required to build this airplane and that are already within the not yet finished airplane, which are already assembled, which are already manufactured in this airplane to be built. This is considered the work in process. So it's not really on storage anymore, but it is part of the product that is being developed. And when the development process takes a long time, then we have a high work in process. Of course, we also have finished goods inventory. Once our products are done, are finished and can be sold, typically we have to wait some time until a customer really can pick the goods, or we can distribute these things. So these are goods ready for sale. Right now the car industry has some problems, and when I was visiting Ingolstadt in Germany, where Audi is manufacturing, they are renting big spaces from agricultural companies outside to store all their vehicles, because right now a lot of customers wait due to Corona to take their new vehicles, and they have to find some storage space. So even this can become a problem. Distribution inventory, what is this? These are finished goods that are within the distribution process. They are on their way to the shops, to the final customers, but they are still in our possession, and therefore they are considered as our inventory. And finally, we have maintenance, repair, and operational inventory. This is often short. The short term is MRO inventory, and these are things that we need for the manufacturing, for the production process. For example, to keep the machines up and running, to fix things with our machinery. But these products, MRO products, these items, they are not part of the finished good. They are not an essential part of the finished good. They don't go into the finished good, but we need to have them on inventory, for example, to deal with our machines and to make them operate smoothly. So you see, there are many purposes of why and types of inventory, and of course different types of inventory are connected to different purposes of having these types of inventory. What are some reasons on how we use inventory? We might build up inventory because we expect that in the future there will be a high demand. This in particular happens for seasonal products. Let's have a look at the fashion industry. We have clothes that you typically only buy in summer, so weeks and months, maybe even a year before that, the companies, the fashion designers, start discussing their future clothes, and they assemble these clothes because they anticipate that there will be a demand in summer, but they have to start production earlier in winter in order to meet the demand. Another reason why companies have inventory is that inventory can protect against unexpected fluctuations. We call this type of inventory safety or buffer stock. Let's have a look at the hospital, the donated blood. When doctors use blood to give new blood to patients, and the hospitals have some expected demand, and they know have some statistical measures, for example standard deviation, and they expect in what range this demand will approximately be. However, this is just a statistical expectation, and this is usually a deviation from the average demand. And in order to protect the company against this deviation from the average demand, we have safety stock or buffer stock. So this is against fluctuation of demand. A third type is lot size inventory. Lot size inventory results from buying more than we immediately need. This often results because suppliers have minimum order quantities, so you cannot just buy 5 pieces, you have to buy at least 20 pieces, and if a company only needs 5 pieces right now, they still have to buy 20 pieces, because otherwise it is not economically suitable for the supplier. And now we have 15 pieces more in stock, and this is called lot size inventory. We only have it because we have to respect minimum order sizes, which are also called lot sizes. We have some transportation inventory. These are goods that are in transit, for example, between our plants and our warehouses. And they are not really available to satisfy customer demands because they are, for example, packed in a truck or in a container. And we can easily calculate this average transportation inventory. This is done in the following way. We need the capital D, the annual demands in units. How many units do we need in 1 year? And we need the transit time. Transit time means the transportation time between our plant and our warehouse. Maybe they are in different countries, maybe they are in different continents, then the transit time can be a huge factor. So when it takes, do we have an example here? No, when it takes 10 times for transit, 10 days in transit for container transportation, and the annual demand is 200 units, then the average transportation inventory is 5.5 units approximately. Transit time multiplied by annual demand divided by the number of days in a year. So some inventory is not available because it's in some transportation process. We have a speculative inventory. Speculative inventory should protect us against future scarcity or more general future price changes of the product. And you see this typically in the oil and gas industry, where there is a big fluctuation in the prices, and some companies, they buy oil when they think it's cheap and in the future the price will rise. Other companies have a speculative inventory in oil. I guess right now many companies are doing this. They buy oil right now because the price is low, and they expect after the corona lockdowns are over a recovery in the oil prices, and they want to benefit from the increased prices, and therefore they have a speculative inventory. And we have the MRO inventory. These are items that support the general operations but are not part of the actual company's products, as discussed previously.